Welcome to this week's episode of Hollywood Matrimony. Thank you so much for those of you that are watching us right now live on Facebook and YouTube. And thank you to everyone that's going to watch us on the replay. Thank you. Um, really?
Sorry.
Sir, you need to mute your phone.
You need to not
No,
worry
turn
about-
your radio down when you call.
You need not worry about what I'm doing.
Anyways, thank you so much for watching this week's episode. As you know, this is the show where we talk about movies. And since it's a homegrown show, we are unprofessional and I eat snacks during the show and our dogs sometimes jump in front of the camera. But what are you going to do? Anyways, make sure you go tell everyone that you know to come watch the show or listen to us later. We're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and what am I missing? Twitter. Did I say Twitter?
I don't
One
know
of
what you
those.
said. Nobody's listening when you talk.
Wow. I'm going to go share right now. I'm going to write a post and tell everybody to come watch the show, but I'm on the wrong account. You know what? I don't like this update that's happened to Facebook.
I don't either. It keeps flipping accounts.
Yes.
Yes, like
and
you can
I'm
be
on
on
like
a thing
3 or
and-
4 accounts. So
yeah,
that
and the
doesn't
problem I
help.
have is like for instance, with my martial arts accounts, I'll go live when I'm teaching my senior fitness classes,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm trying to share it. I have to be me to share it out to some of the groups that I share to for Rowlett.
Yes.
But I can't because it's immediately. So then I got to go and change my thing again, and then go grab it. It's this whole pain in that stuff. The new
It
update
is.
to Facebook, whoever, and whenever they did this, where it automatically, if you click on something, it changes your account without you knowing. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Please stop. Whoever you are, don't. It's not
Facebook, you need
okay.
to fix this.
Yeah, please Facebook.
Although we found out today, Facebook is only for old people.
Yes, we are on old media, but that's okay. But you're on the Instagram and the Twitter.
Are you telling me not to update my MySpace anymore?
We were talking about MySpace with some friends like a week or so ago. We're like, does it still exist? And it does actually. A lot
It
of
does. They
artists
revamped it too.
are using it to share music and
Yeah.
things.
Well, they
so,
revamped it and it was trying to make a comeback, but it
yeah.
didn't.
You
I wonder
know
if that
how
guy
many
that's your
hits
friend is still there.
MySpace gets? Who?
What was the guy that was like your first friend you always got on MySpace?
I don't even know what you're talking about.
When you first set up a MySpace account, it always had this one guy's photo.
Oh,
And I think they did the same thing with Facebook.
it was like the default friend.
Yeah, it was like this is your first friend. And it was a person. It was probably an administrator or something. But
Who knows?
anyway, it was that same guy who was always at the computer like this. Everybody had the same guy.
No
Anyway,
idea.
moving on.
But I'm glad you know.
All right, what are we talking about today, Phil?
Okay, today we have a wide variety of films to discuss.
I'm going to apologize in advance for my wife's behavior today. She's trying this new thing, and I have a distinct feeling she's going to jack with our show with the way she's trying to talk.
I'm not
and
jacking
she's
with
gonna
the
say
show.
stuff, and the way
I
she's going
told
to
you
do
we
stuff.
need to be descriptive.
And she's trying to tell everybody what your new plan is. by the way.
We are taking our live broadcast. Okay, I, Miss Drew, am taking the live broadcast. I am creating a podcast out of our audio. So that's why I'm telling you it's an unprofessional show. Just know we're going to eat. You're going to hear it. You're going to hear me drink and spill water. You're going to hear the dogs bark. It's going to happen. And this guy right here that has horrible, well, I have bad allergies. You have bad allergies and asthma. You're going to hear some snarky snotties. And I'm just sorry. That's what it's going to be. What are you going to do? Right?
I guess I'm going to do the same show I've been doing for the last 300
And I'll try to do
episodes.
descriptive audio for you.
The
Because
300 episodes.
I know we are now on episode 301.
But for those of you that are just joining us and be like, I don't see 300 episodes available. We actually started the show on Facebook alone years ago before we had the YouTube channel, before we even had Hollywood Matrimony. We were doing just a Facebook live show because I used to write for the Dallas Examiner, and we were doing it, and then we didn't really transfer it over. Were we always doing it under Hollywood Matrimony though?
Mm-hmm.
So that started when we started the Hollywood Matrimony page.
Yeah, because I was like, hey, we should just do our own like little movie reviews.
So a
It'd
little
be fun.
a little update history for people, since we haven't talked about this in a long time. People that are newer or just don't remember, or just want to hear the fun story.
Hey.
When I started doing the reviews, I ran a website called Last Stop Comic, which was a little comic strip style cartoon I did 2 or 3 times a week. And when I decided to take a break, one of the things about content website, if you don't keep doing content, people leave. And so I was already watching a ton of movies, so I started writing movie reviews. And they're actually, Last Stop Comic is still up, laststopcomic.com. It's still up there. And there's a bunch of old reviews I did. I would draw new artwork or whatever. Eventually, she found this thing, and I got hired by the Dallas Examiner to be a movie reviewer, which gave us credibility because I had millions and millions of views and whatnot. so I could write reviews. That kind of got me in the door. And then we started talking about, so we had started talking about creating our own website, and doing our own things separate from Examiner. Because one of the downsides of Examiner is I had to write in very generic terms. I couldn't say I couldn't say we, I had to write it as though I was just an outsourced automaton writing my thoughts about this movie without saying they're my thoughts.
Right.
Very generic, so that they didn't take it as, that way if I said something that they didn't necessarily agree with, it's not me saying it's generic terms, and they became this website called Access Entertainment, I think they call it. It's Access something. So anyway, we essentially, sorry, we had some technical things that looked like, we literally through a weekend, she dived into it. We rebuilt the website. We started Hollywood Matrimony Live, or Hollywood Matrimony. Yeah. All my old articles were there. We quickly spent the whole weekend populating the website. So Correct. By the time Monday hit, we had a fully populated, functional website.
Hey, I can create a website like that.
She can't
maintain it.
She can't maintain it, but she can help create it.
I created it, created the show.
So I had to not only, I had to learn to use it, and then I had to populate the entire website with enough content so that when I reached out to my PR people, because they got a thing from them that said Dallas Examiner doesn't exist anymore. So all the Examiner writers were suddenly no longer on their press lists. Mm-hmm. But I was able to, over the weekend, hey, here's the link to my new site. I don't know if you heard, Examiner, blah, 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 blah. We'd already been doing this site, but I had announced it. So this is the keyboard.
Okay, stop making keyboard sounds.
This is the keyboard sounds. So I basically told them we were already writing this, because the original plan is we were going to do a website, but we wanted to get it rolling for a little while, feed traffic, and then eventually launch it officially.
Right.
But
we didn't have time for that.
We were pushed over the cliff, so we dived in and we swam to freedom. And then not long after that, we started Hollywood Matrimony Live, the show on Facebook. And so we've been doing the show on Facebook. Then we started the YouTube channel, and here we are.
Here we are.
Now, that's why there's 300 episodes. So if you go to Facebook, I believe, all 300 episodes are there.
You will find them.
No editing, lamps falling on people's heads.
Love it.
People falling out of chairs.
Yep.
Shows from sitting in the floor at the airport.
Yep.
In a hotel room.
Good times.
On a pier in San Diego. No. San Francisco.
Where we can see Alcatraz in the background.
Yeah, I think didn't we do a show from Thailand?
We did do a show in Thailand. We've done shows everywhere.
So it's like it's just hodgepodge, and we've
I think
always
that's
done
what's
it.
cool about our show.
Yeah,
and I think that's what people like.
Yeah, we don't edit the show. We don't.
I'm editing the podcast.
Whatever. We don't edit the show. We don't have a big setup. We literally, this room, which you don't see, and if you go look at, there's a video on our YouTube channel of our theater, $500 theater room. That's the room we're in. There's literally a couch behind us that we used to sit on. It's a folding table, some chairs. We have a light because she was determined to have professional lighting.
I needed good lighting.
But we've actually tried to get a little fancy a couple times on the show, and we've had people complain.
And they do. They get upset when we're like too fancy.
We're literally just two people that live in a house. We sit down and we say, hey, we're
talk
live.
About movies.
Let's talk. And then we go back to our lives.
Well, they're going to get really upset when I add the podcast microphones.
Yeah, well, that might help. But we're not trying to monetize this thing. That's not what this is about. For us.
Shoot, we ain't getting no money.
Yeah, no. So
did your dad ask about that? Because I heard you on the phone.
He asked if there's. Well, my dad's kind of confused on how. So most people actually are, because there's a misconception of people that are movie reviewers. That it's their jobs, and more often than not, it's not, unless you're working for a major publication of a magazine or a newspaper or one of these websites that have been around forever that actually are massive and make a lot of income and stuff, because obviously there are those there. Most of the reviewers I know have full-time jobs. They do other things. This is kind of a side gig. And I tell people all the time I have 3 jobs. I'm a full-time martial arts instructor. I'm a cartoonist, and then I have my hobby job, which is this stuff.
The movies.
That the pay is seeing movies early, getting the Blu-rays and the DVDs early to screen them, the press credentials of getting to do stuff and interview people, and so that's the perks of doing this. That's the payroll of doing this. It's a full-time job work to write reviews and articles. Like sometimes I'm sitting there hours and hours at a time maintaining the website. We spend 2 hours on a Sunday. Our whole life is on Sundays is scheduled around doing this show. We don't have to be here. Nobody would care if we didn't do this show, but
I care.
that's what we do.
We like movies.
I know. So anyway, that's the history. We just do this for the fun of it. There's no monetary gain for doing this. So if you ever want to give us money, we'll take it.
Yes.
We're still poor.
Well,
right.
Once we get to enough, I think, followers on Facebook, then we can start getting stars.
You have to have thousands of
I don't
before
care.
you get
Well,
it.
I'm going to do it, man.
The Facebook followers, and same thing with YouTube. You can't even go live on YouTube on your phone unless you have, I think, at least 1,000 followers. I think we're like at close to 300. We might be 250.
Well, I know how to do it. So
you know how to do what?
We're live on YouTube right now because
you can be live to your computer.
Oh,
unlike your cell phone. That's why we can't go live at conventions and things like this live.
We can Facebook live.
We can Facebook live, but we can't go YouTube live. We have to.
Well, luckily you can podcast anywhere because you just need a recorder.
Because I can go on, like, we've done some of the stuff at Celebration stuff where we went on YouTube and went live per se, but it's not live. What it does is it records it.
Correct. And then
it uploads it. So it's really the same thing. It's
all the same thing.
So anyway, moving on. We're here today to discuss some stuff. It's another case of I've seen everything and she's only seen some of it.
Yeah, I tried.
I don't think there's anything here that I haven't seen today. I think it's just
correct.
Some stuff
We've
you
seen everything. Okay, so what order do we want to go in of movies?
Whatever you want. You tell me.
Let's talk about this thing.
I can't say. I don't have my glasses. Oh, okay. Yeah, let's talk.
You need to wear your glasses, buddy.
I take them off because I can see over here, but that was like a little tiny picture. Like
wow. Okay, today, first movie up, we're talking about the cool 4K Ultra release of Green Lantern, Beware My Power, the new DC animated feature.
It is the latest in their thing, and they've really been on the ball with a lot of their animated features. I know there's a lot of disagreements and arguments about how their live action worlds are going. I like most of them, even the ones that have problems. I just enjoy the fact that they exist. I'm not a baby about it. I'm sorry.
Are you calling people babies?
I am in fact calling people babies because I don't get all butthurt. Like, I'm a massive Star Wars fan, and I recognize the flaws in some of the stuff that's come out. But I don't come out of theaters like, hey, you ruined my childhood. You're just Disney, Kathleen Kennedy. I'm like, thank God there's more Star Wars.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that one wasn't quite working. Let's hope they fix it the next time. Nope. Does The Mandalorian good? It has its moment. Grogu. Let's move on from him. But hey, we got Boba Fett. You don't like Boba Fett? But there was a Rancor, and it's Danny Trejo as the Rancor keeper. Hello, there's always good things in everything, so it is what it is. I'm sorry. So we're diving into Green Lantern.
Are you ready to
I want to know what you're feeling on the character Green Lantern in general. I know you don't know a lot about it outside of Ryan Reynolds probably, but
yeah.
Do you even like Green Lantern as a character?
I do like Green Lantern. I like the fact that there are Green Lanterns around the universe of different species of origin. So each species or whatever has its own Green Lantern hero. So I like that. I know a little bit. What I know of Green Lantern has to do with any of the animated films we've seen, because that's mostly my history of DC is their animated features, because their animated series is where it's at.
Did you ever see the Green Lantern TV series they did briefly? It looked just like Batman the animated series. It was that art style, but it was in the CGI animation.
Maybe I'd have to look and see.
I think I have it, but I don't remember.
It was
really good.
It was a Green Lantern series.
Did one season. Yeah, it was a TV series, but I think it was just called
the animated series.
I think that's one. Look at it. It should be. Yeah.
Yes, I do remember this. Yes,
it was really good. It got the short end of the stick.
I think we watched it together, didn't we?
I don't remember. It only lasted one season.
Yes, I did see this with you. Yes, I remember this, and I did like it. I liked it a lot. It's really such
a great show, but it looks just like Batman the animated series, same style, but it just didn't click it for whatever reason. I'm not a huge Green Lantern fan, but I'm also, and I've said this numerous times, I love all things comic books.
Correct.
If it comes out and you tell me, hey, there's a new Green Lantern movie, I want to see it. I don't care how trash it looks. I don't care which Green Lantern it is. If it's Hal Jordan, John Stewart, Kyle Rayner, Guy Gardner. I don't care who it is.
You know more already than everybody else.
I know. I want to see it because I just love that this stuff exists.
Yes.
I remember growing up and everything few and far between what we got. I remember finally getting movies, and we got stuff like Steel with Shaquille O'Neal as Steel. But I was excited to see it because it was Steel, and I knew it was going to suck. I remember we got the Supergirl movie that's horrible, but I was excited that it existed.
Yeah, we got something.
Now we got stuff everywhere, and I know there's a lot of people that talk about they're getting superhero fatigue. They're getting tired of the Marvel movies. They're getting tired of a new superhero thing coming out all the time.
All
but
the
I'm
time.
like, how? If you love this stuff, how are you getting tired of it?
Well, and that's the other thing that you and I have talked about. We've talked about on the show is, okay, so you're getting tired of superheroes. Well, then you clamor for something new and original, but then they don't go see new and original because like, oh, that looks weird. It looks too artsy. It looks
stupid.
Come on, guys. You're missing out.
It's a lose-lose situation.
It is.
But anyway,
we try.
So let's dive into this new one. The latest animated fiction. Now, this one's from this Jeff Wamister. I think that's how you say it. I mean, Wamister. I'm gonna say his name's Wamister. He directed the Justice Society World War II movie, the one that where they go back in time. It's just Wonder Woman. I just wrote this in my review too. This is the second feature he did that did not bring Batman and Superman, which I love.
Yes,
I love the characters, but I like.
We get
not everything has to be about them.
Yeah, we got other characters.
Yeah, and this does have a similar style to that, as well as that Superman Man of Tomorrow movie that I wasn't a big fan of the bolder lines, this anime style, but it's still good. It still works.
Yeah. It
didn't bother me this time around as much as it did in the Man of Tomorrow movie or the World War II movie. But I think it's because I'm used to it now.
Yeah.
Those two were very like...
And I think those of us that aren't super artists like you don't even notice.
It's not a bad art thing. It's not that they're bad. I just like
the line art.
The bolder line it felt too much like they were trying to force something. It just didn't work for me initially, but it worked this time around. I kind of enjoyed it in this one.
I don't know anything about what you're saying. I liked that he had a green glow because he's Green Lantern.
Well, they always have a green glow.
And then the bad guy is the yellow guy.
Sinestro.
Yes. And then there's another color too, right?
There's a bunch of colors.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's the Red Lanterns, which we didn't get in this movie. I was bummed out. Red Lanterns are like these super evil, badass ones. There's Green Lanterns, obviously. I don't keep up with it, so I don't know the stories of this stuff because I was not a Green Lantern fan, but I do know there was this whole Green Lantern Darkest Night, I think it was called, or Darkest Day story arc they did, or Brightest Day. I don't remember what it was, but it was like kind of a war. There was like gray lanterns and blue lanterns and yellow lanterns. This one has yellow lanterns and the green lanterns. And I can't speak on what's in this movie if that was kind of fed from any of those things. So anybody that's a hardcore fan, if you see the movie, you can tell me.
Send us a message.
But there's some interesting stuff because this movie serves as an origin story for John Stewart.
Correct.
Which I don't know if it's the real origin story because I didn't keep track of it. I know who John Stewart's character is because outside of the comics, you probably know John Stewart's character because he was the one that was actually in the Justice League animated series for the longest time. Hal Jordan being the most popular, not the first Green Lantern, but one of the most popular Green Lanterns.
Which is the character that Ryan Reynolds
played he was the Hal Jordan
film.
And in the comics, he became the Spectre. And then in my understanding was there was always supposed to only be one Green Lantern per planet.
Correct.
So when one would die, someone would take over the mantle. That's how we got Guy Gardner. That's how we got Kyle Rayner. That's how we got John Stewart. It was like these other ones. Now they all exist at the same time, but I don't read enough to understand. Like I understand how Jordan became the Spectre, so
that makes sense. Yeah.
And then there's a Muslim chick that's a Green Lantern as well.
Cool.
And, anyway, this story is more about John Stewart,
and we get some hot girl action.
Not John Stewart from The Daily Show.
No, we get hot girl. We got.
I thought you said hot girl. I'm like hot girl, which irritates me. Can I just say this out loud? It irritates me. I know Hawk Girl is a badass character, and I do love the Hawk Girl character.
Yes.
But I love Hawkman. I'm a huge Hawkman fan, and they keep going to Hawk Girl, and I know they're doing it partially trying to give some inclusion to all the varieties of characters.
In the cast, yes.
But I'm like, if you bring in Hawk Girl, It's okay to bring in Hawkman. Let's have them both there. You know, I'm not saying that Hawkgirl needs to be weaker because she's supposed to be a badass. And I like the diversity. I like that there's different characters that are the females and Muslims and black and white and Asian. I want that. I like the diversity of that.
But you wanted Hawkman.
But I want a guy named Hawkman. I love Hawkman.
Well, and
I love in Black Adam they're bringing in Hawkman for the first time in live action.
Yeah, so that's
and it's played
cool.
by Aldous Hodge, who's a black man.
Mm-hmm.
Ironically, does the voice for Jon Stewart in this movie.
Oh, how cool is that?
He's playing Hawkman in the movie
fun.
Black Adam. So I'm stoked that we're getting it, but I'm just like, okay, well, where's Hawkgirl for the movie? Why can't I'm hoping. I don't think it'll ever happen because I don't think they look at Hawkman as a big enough character. But there's so much stuff with the Thanagarian Wars and the planets, and I don't know what they're doing with Hawkman in the movie yet. If they're going to do the Thanagarian aspect of it, but that's what I want is maybe an HBO Max series with Hawkman. Like they did Peacemaker, and I don't know. Anyway, I'm sorry. I could go on and on about Hawkman. I love Hawkman. Let's go back to Green Lantern. That's what we're supposed to be talking about.
Oh my gosh. You keep going on tangents today.
I know. I'm sorry.
I'm going to have to edit you.
No, you're not.
I'm going to edit you out.
Don't you edit anything I said.
I'm editing everything.
I'm going to talk over everything you say so you can't edit me out.
Not really.
Okay, so what did you feel about this? Because I know
really
you know
liked
nothing
it.
about it.
I know nothing about. I mean, I know what from the animated series or whatever other movies we've seen, and from Ryan Reynolds. That's my knowledge of Green Lantern. I'm not going to say I've read the books because I didn't, so I don't really know what's going on. But I liked this movie.
She does read a lot of books, though, just not these.
Yeah, I don't read this. Did you see I had the baby reading a Buffy comic?
I saw that was a great
and
shot.
did you see she had her little leg crossed and she
I did.
was
That was a
holding
great
the
shot.
thing?
Did you give her that to pose, or was she just picking up and looking at it?
She's like, "What this? What this?" So I'm like, "It's a book. You want to read it?" So I like said, "Look, this is Buffy. She kills vampires." And so she grabbed it, and so I'm like, "Look, you have to read the pictures." And so she was there, like pretending to read.
And then you quickly took a picture
and I
before
took
she
the picture.
changed around.
Yes. And then she did
like
tear out
that-
a page of the book I had to put back.
I don't like the fact that you introduced her to the first comic being Buffy because that's not a good comic. I will not have you messing up her brain with the Buffy first in the comic world.
That's the best.
But
anyway.
she's inevitably going to probably be really enthralled in the comic world because
I hope
in reading
she's into reading like Mackenzie was.
Well, because like her aunt, my daughter, this is our grandchild. Yes,
we have a grandchild.
we're grandparents.
But look how hot we
Look
are.
at these sexy people.
Hey.
My daughter is heavily into reading. You're heavily into reading.
We've always
I'm heavily into reading, but we all read different kinds of stuff.
Correct.
You and my daughter both read a lot of
novels,
like novels, but you're a lot into the vampire world. And
yeah,
the
I like
supernatural
paranormal novels and things.
And Mackenzie reads a lot of the same
yeah,
stuff.
because we share books.
She also will go into like a lot of this, I think Stephen King stuff and the Hunger Games stuff and all these different stuff where I'm more into the comics, but in a wide variety of the superhero and horror and all kinds of crazy and weird stuff.
Everything.
But my son, while he doesn't read a lot of the comics and stuff, he's very into the comic universe and the collecting. He's a massive Shazam fan and he has a lot of stuff, but he also collects a lot of. She's around nonstop comic world stuff. Correct. I won't be surprised if she becomes a super comic nerd.
Yeah. Well, and
in
I
some
think
way,
too,
or sci-fi nerd.
If we do a good job of introducing her to reading, and I'm a firm believer in comics counts as reading. There's some of those parents who are like, "Oh, that's not a real book," but it is.
Read something.
Read anything, because reading is fundamental.
I read every night. You read every night.
I read every night. I'm reading
books.
like 3 or 4 things at a time.
You're usually reading a book on whether it's on a Kindle or it's a physical book, or you have comics you read on the toilet.
Yes.
I have comics placed all through the house. I have the toilet comic, and then I have a stack of stuff next to my nightstand.
I have a whole box.
So it's read something. I don't care what it is.
Reading's good for you.
If you love it, read it.
Exactly.
There's no such thing as bad reading. I read some kid books too.
Oh, I love kids books.
I was telling a parent who was reading
that Chewbacca book is really cute.
Oh, you finally reading it again? You've been reading for 7 years.
Well, because you put books out for me too to read, and so I'm never in this bathroom very much. I'm in my other one. So
yes, we have stationed books that I only read in the bathroom. I have a Star Wars book upstairs in my bathroom that's from The Last Jedi, but it's a story about Rose and her sister.
Oh, cool!
Great book, but I never use that bathroom.
True.
So I never read that book.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to Green Lantern.
Sorry.
This one serves as not only a origin story for Jon Stewart, but it actually deals with why he's being able to get this. Where's Hal Jordan?
Mm-hmm.
We're getting to see, like you mentioned, the Green Arrow, which you can't really do a Green Lantern story about Where's Hal Jordan without Oliver Queen, because they were best friends and there was a lot of comics that were Green Lantern and Green Arrow, which I can only assume that the only reason they always team them up is because both of them said green. Because they're so not the same type of characters. And of course, you can't have a Green Lantern story without Sinestro or the Green Lantern. I will say I'm a little bummed out that there's no Kilowog in this movie. I kept yelling Kilowog.
Oh my gosh! Well, here's the thing: since you do know the characters, you're like, "Ooh, the Thanagarians," and then next thing, like, "Ooh, this race of people," and they're like, they get to wherever the little alien creatures are from.
Yeah. The Guardians.
The Guardians. And we see all the statues, and you're like,
there's
"Where's Kilowog? Where's Kilowog?" And I'm
They're
like,
showing all these Green Lantern statues of characters, and there's even one of the
Lord.
Oh, now I forgot the name of it, but the squirrel. And I'm like, which is funny because there's a variation to that in another movie we're going to talk about today.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not a Green Lantern, but it is. But I'll kind of get to that point. But they're showing that, and they're showing all these, and I don't know that many Green Lantern characters, honestly.
Well,
I know them visually,
yeah,
but I don't know their names. But I know Green Lanterns. I know most of the regular Green Lanterns and who they are and what they do. I know Sinestro because
he's the bad guy.
He was a good one that turned bad, and he's like the head of the Yellow Lanterns. And he was always also in the old Super Friends. He was the Green Lantern character that was in the Legion of Doom.
Yes.
But he was always in blue and black. Mm. And then I know Kilowog, because Kilowog in the movie, he's the big, beefy one that trained Hal Jordan in the movie. Are you looking up Kilowog?
No, I'm looking up the Green Lantern Oath.
Oh. So anyway, sadly, there's not a lot of other Green Lanterns in this movie. So, but that's fine. It would have got too diluted for what they're doing. If you want to watch the TV show Green Lantern, and they are supposed to be doing a Green Lantern Corps for HBO Max live action series.
Oh, that'd be kind of fun.
So hopefully they'll do something.
We'll see.
We keep waiting for the CW because you didn't get to see it, but at the end of spoiler alert, at the end of the big crossover they did, yes, where I'm just going to say it because I don't know if you're ever going to watch it.
I probably never will.
When they ended the show Arrow,
yes,
they did that big crossover in the multiverse, and they brought in
with all of the others.
When Oliver Queen died, he became the Spectre.
Oh, okay.
So they killed him off, but he still exists. Yeah. But Diggle,
yes,
the black guy, his friend.
Guy,
the show ended with him finding something that crashed on the ground, and when he looked at it, it glowed green.
Oh.
And he is the one character that's been showing up in all the other shows.
Nice.
As Diggle walking around trying to figure out this thing that he found, and they recently said it was something else, and it's not the Green. So we all were hoping he was going to become the Green Lantern, but they didn't do that. So anyway, but this movie's actually kind of cool. It does with a lot of stuff. They're bringing some characters that you may not expect with Adam Strange.
You're like, is that what's his name?
Yeah, Adam Strange shows up, and they're dealing with a lot of.
I'm married to such a nerdy man.
Yeah,
I love you.
Different ways of doing stuff, and they touch on the Thanagarian War, but it's not the same way, and so it's interesting.
It's interesting. It's a really interesting story, and you don't have to know anything about Green Lantern to follow along. So,
what's interesting though to me too is this movie didn't get a lot of publicity. Like usually, I know about the animated features coming out. They send out press releases, like we knew about the Justice Society. They're re-releasing. I believe it's the Death of Superman, but they're putting it because there was two movies. There was the Death of Superman, and then the Return of Superman, which had all you remember those two movies that came out? Mm-hmm. They're re-releasing it like they did The Dark Knight Returns as one film.
Nice.
And so there's that, and there's usually the next big ones they always talk about. I found out about this and just because I saw, hey, this is coming out in a couple of weeks, and I'm like,
wow.
So I had to actually email them, hey, can I get a copy of this? Are we not talking about this?
Like I said at the beginning, their animated features are good.
Yeah, and then this movie's already out. It came out Tuesday.
Oh.
But I didn't get it until Friday, so I didn't even know if we were going to get to see it. I was gonna buy it digitally and just watch it.
Okay.
My son called me, hey, did you know about this? And he was at the store and saw it, and I said, yes, but I didn't get it, blah, blah.
Did he buy it?
I don't know. He didn't end up buying it. Because I asked him if he was going to buy it. I wasn't going to worry about it. I'll just wait till it's on Movies Anywhere. And then it showed up. Nice. So I was very excited.
We need to put it on Movies Anywhere for
It's
him.
already on there.
Oh, okay,
I did. That's where we watched it, dummy.
Oh, I didn't pay attention.
So anyway, but it's a fun movie if you like this stuff.
It's good.
I like to always hear from you because we see it from different perspectives.
Correct.
I love all comic books things.
I don't.
You love comic book things in movie
Depends.
form and
Yes.
things. You like some comic books,
I do like some comic
but I
books.
like hearing your perspective as an outside somebody that knows
Well,
nothing.
And I'm telling you, people complain so much about their movies, but their animated movies are amazing.
Well,
Always.
and this is a PG-13 movie. There's blood, there's cussing, it's not a kids movie.
No, it's when they have those rated R movies that I freak out. I was like, wait a
And
minute.
people get mad sometimes
I'm like,
about them, but I'm
"Woo-hoo."
like, I don't really know if you've ever read the real source. You know,
Yeah.
sometimes it's like this really shouldn't be for a child.
Yeah,
you know,
some things are not.
but
Anyways, it's
this
good.
one I don't know why it didn't get more publicity. I actually enjoyed it. I thought it was cool. If you like the Green Lantern, I think it's a good take on the Green Lantern stuff. If you're a hardcore fan, please, even if you don't comment on the show, shoot me a message and tell me, hey, this was taken from this story or this, because I like knowing these things. I'm a nerd. It may make me go read that thing. The only Green Lantern stuff I really ever read was the Red Lantern stuff, and it's because originally DC sent it to me. I'm like, I don't care about this, and then it was Ethan Van Sciver, the guy I'm a huge fan of. I'm a fan of his art now, not of the human so much. But I read the book because he did it. I'm like, oh my god, these Red Lanterns are badass. They're all evil and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so I read like the first few volumes of their book, and then I don't know what happened to them. So
All
anyway,
right.
Green Lantern, Beware My Power. It's available now on Blu-ray, DVD, 4K, and digital. So whether you're a fan or not, check it out. You won't be disappointed.
All right,
Or you
moving
might
on.
be, I don't know.
We're moving on. Tell me about this movie you watched.
Oh Lord. All right. So this other movie, Bring Him Back Dead.
Okay.
There's a little context to this movie that I have to explain first. Because if I was to have to review this movie as a normal human being, you're not going to like this movie.
Oh,
It's not a great movie. It's a martial arts flick.
okay.
It's fairly independent. It's kind of cheesy, despite the cast, because it has some known names with Daniel Baldwin and Louis Mandylor. I like Louis Mandylor. You know,
Yep.
he's in the collection.
We are Mandalore
Yeah,
fans.
he's in the Tax Collector and Tax Collector 2 with Scott Adkins, and he's been in a lot of different stuff. I'm a fan of his. But my real love and excitement for this movie was Gary Daniels, who is the guy in the center.
Mhm.
I know you have no idea who that is.
Yeah, I'm looking at the picture.
Gary Daniels is a martial arts guy.
Okay.
And I've been a fan of his since first seeing him in Ring of Fire in like 1991. It's a Dawn the Dragon Wilson movie, and he literally was just
Oh.
one of the punk fighters that he fights with. Most people would know him if you've seen him in like bigger screen stuff. He was in the first Expendables movie. He was like one of the henchmen.
Okay.
And he also shows up in the new Kung Fu series in this first season as like this master. You might remember this episode. How many episodes did you watch of that?
Just like 2.
Okay, well, there's an episode where she goes. I'm throwing it out there for people that watch it. There's an episode where she goes to this school that she needs information, and the instructor is like, "I'll give you the information you want, but you're gonna have to fight me first."
Oh, I didn't see
And so
that.
she fights him, and that's Gary Daniels.
Oh, okay, cool.
So, needless to say, I've been a huge fan of his for a long time as a martial artist and an actor. He's not a great actor. He's one of those straight to video martial arts guys. Done a buttload of movies. So anyway, I haven't seen him in a ton of stuff. I saw him watch him in something with Robert Bronzi,
Yes.
Charles Bronson guy.
my. Yeah.
the last movie he did. I got
Okay.
excited because they were in it together,
I see.
and he did no martial arts. So I was very upset.
Yeah.
So this time around, he's leading the charge. I'm like, you can't have him here and not do martial arts.
Mhm.
Thankfully, he does plenty of martial arts. He's kicking butt. There's jumping slow motion, jumping back kicks and things like this. But the movie's not that good. It's the kind of movie that I'm going to say it's a guilty pleasure type movie, or it's a very specific group of people that are going to enjoy this movie. If you're just someone that likes action movies and want a great movie, you may or may not really like this movie. This is the kind of movie you would rent at the video store back in the day in the 80s or 90s, watch it and be like, the movie's not good, but did you see the fights? You know,
Yeah.
The fighting in this movie is average at best, but it's not because of him. It's because there's nobody in this movie that's a real martial artist for him to fight against. He's fighting against, which Louis Mandylor does fine. He's been in a lot of these movies, but these other actors that are not great actors, I'm assuming a lot of them are probably stuntmen that are doing acting, and a lot of them are doing their best, but it's just, you can see from the trailer you're watching, it's like,
Yeah.
a lot of it's too slow execution, because he's having to slow down. I
And
believe
there's
for
the other
people.
Baldwins in here.
Yeah, Daniel Baldwin.
Mm.
I think he's having to slow down some of his fights so that these actors can keep up with what he's doing.
Oh, and that's the worst when
Yeah,
you
and
can
it
tell
just-
because you can tell like
And there's a
it's not
lot of slow
popping.
motion in this movie for no reason. And I think a lot of it was trying to help, hopefully, make it
would it
better.
have been better if it was the other Mandalore in a different
No,
and a
Costas
different
Mandalore.
Baldwin?
No, Costas Mandalore. I love him as an actor. He's a little heftier. He's not good at the action stuff. Louis Mandalore, like I said, has been in a lot of these kind of movies, and he's fine. He only has one fight in the movie. He's the
Mhm.
big boss, so he's like at the end of the sideline most of the movie. Stop watching the trailer for that other movie.
No, it flipped on me. It's
So
not my
yeah,
fault.
so it's not a good movie. I enjoyed it. What I did enjoy of it, I enjoyed it because of my nostalgic feeling for Gary Daniels, and it's another one of those guys that I will watch a movie he's in knowing what I'm going to get. So if you're not a martial arts fan or a fan of Gary Daniels, you will probably hate this movie. So it's not one I can recommend to the mass public. It's one of those is like, no, you're going to watch a movie that's mediocre. You're watching it for Gary Daniels to kick ass, and everything else is just you have to deal with. So
All
that
right.
makes sense.
Yep. That's not a resounding.
It's not a. I
But
can't.
at least it's on.
It's not a thumbs up, thumbs down. It's I love Gary Daniels. That's
Okay,
that's the
that's
review
fair.
I give you. If you say, "Hey, is this movie any good?" I'm just going to say, "I love Gary Daniels."
There you go.
Everything else around it, if you don't even know who Gary Daniels is, you will probably not like this movie.
All right. Well, there you go to those people who you say that we give good reviews for everything.
And we're friends on Facebook, so there's a high chance he's going to see this, and he's seen my review. I guarantee if he wants to, because we're friends on Facebook,
Oh
and
goodness.
and
Did you put in there? I love Gary Daniels.
I did not. I did put it that I'm a huge fan, and I wrote there's plenty of high kicking action. So most is pretty basic and nothing overly exciting. I'm not going to lie and say it's a great movie just because I'm a fan. It's
I
like
know. Well, we always try to find at least one good thing in a movie, and for you, it was Gary Daniels.
it's Gary Daniels. It's
There you
just
go.
I love Gary
All
Daniels.
Moving on. Let's move on to another movie.
All right.
What do you want to talk about now?
What big you want?
You want to go here
Sure, I don't care.
or there?
Wherever you like to go, my dear.
Let's go here.
I'm going on ride for whatever ride you take me.
All
on.
right. The next movie we're going to talk about is the movie Not Okay, which is available now on. Oh, I want to say the right
Is it
thing.
Hulu? I didn't write a review for this one.
Oh Yes, it's an original film on Hulu. It was just released over the weekend, and it stars Zoe Dutch, who you will know from many things.
And also Mia Isaac, who we just talked about her on that movie with John Cho. Was it No Way Home or whatever that road trip movie we were watching?
Yes, from a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
All right, so oh goodness, where do we start about this? So this movie, the premise of the story is this girl who's kind of feels just kind of invisible and like nothing is going on in her
She
life.
feels like her life sucks. Nothing's going her way.
Nothing's going her way. She wants a promotion at work. She's hot for this guy. Her parents treat her like a baby. I feel like she's just trying to live her life, but nothing's going her way.
And she's not included in anything. Like she's really tries hard to
make friends.
Friends at work. She tries to get the job she wants. Everybody dismisses her, or we're sorry, we don't want you around. They treat her kind of. Really, could you just it's almost like the typical high school story, but this is more of a job workplace instead of high school.
So basically, she fakes a trip to Paris. She's like, "I'm going to a writers' conference in Paris."
Yeah, she tries to be like a social influencer.
Correct,
because
so
she gets the idea from somebody else, and it starts off because she says something at the spur of the moment, trying to make herself sound good.
Yes.
And then figured out a way to make it happen. And
correct.
To be honest, she did what a lot of social influence people do.
Photoshop, baby.
Yeah.
That's all they do. Anyways, but then tragedy strikes in Paris where she's supposedly at. And now people are freaking out like, are you okay? Are you okay? So she has to figure out to fake her way back, which she didn't go anywhere. And how is she going to now live with this thing that has happened?
The biggest aspect of it is not only dealing with the popularity that your Facebook gives, that your social media gives you, but also falling deeper and deeper and deeper into a lie that could have easily been stopped, but you couldn't help yourself because you could see the benefit of changing your life.
And you and I were like, okay, you supposedly made it back safe. Shut up. Just say, I don't want to talk about it. It's too emotional, and move on with your life.
Or she really should have just said, I wasn't anywhere near that when it happened. I was already away from those areas. But she didn't say that. So then it put her in this situation. And there wasn't an intent. This is what's interesting about the film, it was a really good movie. It's a little depressing. It's frustrating because you're watching somebody spiral because you can see they're making horribly bad decisions. But it's interesting because there was never a malicious intent from the beginning. She would see something that it would kind of give positivity to her life based on somebody would know her or the friends she made or this and that. So she would take that extra step, and that extra step to her was this, but in the element of her lie, it was
huge. And it's that thing where when you tell one lie, you have to tell another and another to keep it up. And that's how eventually people get caught.
Yeah. And with her, she plays the lies into that, but she's surfing on the happiness of what it's giving her in her life.
Popularity, acceptance, the guy, the job.
But ignoring the fact that what she's dealing with should be giving her sadness in real life if you're dealing with it. So it's making her look weird because she's going to these grief counseling meetings, she's dealing with this and talking to people, but she's telling a story like she caught the biggest fish ever. But everybody else is listening to this story like, oh my God, you were through a horrible tragedy. And she's kind of growing from it, but not in the way she should be.
It's crazy. And I feel like you said, it's a lot how influencers do it now. It's all fake. Not all, but a lot of it's smoke and mirrors. We know there's a lot, with just photoshopping and lighting and filters and all these things. So it's not even really real. The reality that they're seeing or putting out there is not real. So then it creates this whole thing where you're trying to get likes and followers for something that's even fake, but then everybody say, oh, but they liked me back or whatever. It creates this whole spiral weirdness of lies.
It's interesting too, because like you mentioned that, and I was never big into reaction videos and stuff, and over the last couple of years, I think it was the pandemic threw me in that direction.
Nothing else.
I got into music reaction videos, and I'm still watching them. Sometimes movie reaction videos, but mostly because I like seeing how people connect with it. I don't understand people watching somebody open a box and getting excited about that or playing a video game, but seeing somebody discover something the first time is entertaining. But if they don't have a reaction, I'm instantly like, nope, not watching them again, and I move on. But it's the interesting thing that I've started seeing is you look at some of these people that have millions of subscribers and you look at their backdrops and they look like they're in this thing. And then there's this one couple that I really like watching them. They're fun to watch, entertaining. Then they did this entire thing of they were being evicted from the trailer they lived in and this and that. And these other ones were living in their car now. And you're seeing this facade, of
it's not even real
where they're at and what they're living like. And you see all these followers and your instinctive perception is, man, if you got millions of followers, you're making some money off your thing. You're probably doing well. You got sponsors and this. And then you're like, okay, well, we're living out of our car and I have this one laptop. And then it makes you think, oh, well, crap, my normal daily life is better than these people that are putting this thing out there.
It's so fake.
And I think that's part of the reason we keep our shows so blah.
It's basic.
This is my house. This is what we live in. This is not a fake set. This is our house.
I guess. I mean, I just think it's an interesting take on the whole social media thing. Yeah. The idea of being popular and famous, it's not, none of it's even really real, because we see people turn on these people in an instant. Yeah. They say one thing and everyone has already canceled you and you've got to delete your accounts and go into hiding. I mean, it's insane. The power of social media.
Yeah, and it's always intriguing to me, the two sides of that. It's the fake mentality of your friends on social media. I have 300 plus friends on Facebook. Those are not my friends.
Correct.
There's maybe 10 of those people on Facebook that I am friends with. those are my social media acquaintances.
Yes.
I don't care. I mean, I care about them. If I see someone, I'm sorry, happy birthday. Hope you're having a good day. That's interesting
Yeah.
to see. I like the information, but I'm not watching them going, oh, when if they unfriend me, I'm not like, oh, I lost 4 friends. If I lost 4 friends, like I have people on social media that I've unfriended. I'm still friends with in real life. I didn't like something they posted. I don't want to see their crap or whatever, but I'm like, that's not our friendship. And it's interesting how people have latched onto this social media of this is their real life.
It's not real friends.
But then people have also taken it and destroyed lives.
Yes.
And the idea of this is a good example of when you've done something and then you're exposed, because that's part of the movie is finally getting exposed and dealing with that. You're finally exposed. Everybody wants you to apologize. Everybody wants you to make amends. Everybody wants you to do these things, but then nobody's willing to give you that forgiveness time.
They won't forgive you anymore.
Like when isn't enough? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like there's a repeat thing with one of the characters that does spoken word poem, and I think she said the best statement at the end of one of her poems where she talks about there's a whole thing about will not be okay kind of thing. And she makes a fake mistake like maybe eventually I can forgive you, but we'll never be okay. Mm-hmm. Meaning I can move on eventually someday, but we're not going to be friends.
Correct.
There's nothing you can do to make us friends again, but I can let it go.
Yeah.
But it's going to take time to get there. And
Correct.
I think that's what doesn't happen in social media is people can't let it go. It's like, I always go back to the Kevin Hart thing because they attacked him 10 years after he said something in his stand-up comedy routine. It wasn't necessarily an actual attack on anything. He had already made amends. He'd already apologized. He'd already taken it out of his routine. They attacked him only because he was going to host the Oscars. Mm-hmm. He didn't do something to get attacked before that. They announced him, so people immediately started digging up 10 years before. Mm-hmm. And he made a great statement of like, I've apologized. I'm not apologizing again. How many times do I have to apologize before it's forgiven? They're not forgiving me, so yeah. And I'm like, I agree.
Because that's all of us. We all do or say something stupid. Yeah. It just so happens social media is here now.
Yeah, and if somebody gets out of jail for serving a crime, the idea is supposed to be you've served your time.
Yeah, you can
now are you a better person? Are you trying to fix yourself? But they don't get that chance. And that's why most people that come out of jail end up back in jail. Yeah. Because they're not given the chance to redeem themselves. They can't get jobs. They can't do this. I'm not saying every person deserves forgiveness because it really does depend on what you did. But there's got to be that element of, is there anything at the end of the road to make you want to be the better person? Mm-hmm. What's interesting about this movie is she's not a bad person. Even when she does what she does, she's not doing it for monetary gain. She starts having a mental transition to where she's doing the right thing. Yeah. But she's so deep in the lie, despite the lie now doing good things with the lie, it's still a lie and it's going to hurt everybody you're connected with.
Correct. So it's crazy. I think it's a very interesting look at the power of social media. Yeah.
It's heavy.
It's crazy. It is crazy. And throughout it, you can see that she's not
okay.
She's not even normal.
Did you ever get the vibe sometimes where you forgot where we're going with this movie? Like she's establishes friendships, she's doing stuff, and sometimes you get comfortable and forget that she's made all this crap up, and that because you see her doing good things and you almost have let it go.
Yeah.
Until it's revealed and you start seeing everybody's reaction, you're like, oh yeah, this was not okay. Mm-hmm. She did a horrible thing,
Yeah, she's a horrible person essentially, but what are you gonna do?
And I applaud them for doing a non-Hollywood ending.
Yes,
where it ends with not a forgiveness. It's like I just have to kind of get over it. And I have to move on to my life. I have to leave this alone. I can't fix this. Yeah. Because that's how it'd be in real life. That's not something you can fix.
Correct. Anyways.
So, it's a heavy movie. It's a little depressing, but it was way better.
It's very interesting, and I do think we need to get our teenagers watching it because I think it's very important that they realize the effects of social media and the fact that so much of it is fake, guys.
And I had no interest in this movie. I just watched it because she goes, I want to watch this.
Well, I like Zoe Dutch.
I don't even know who she is. Is she actually Dutch?
No.
I thought her name was Zoe Douche.
Oh my gosh. No. She's from...
I know of her. I just don't know what she's in.
Yes, you do. She's Before I Fall was the last big thing I watched. She was in Zombieland.
What was she in Zombieland? Was she the main girl?
No, she's the other girl. that they meet up. I think.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
I think.
I know she's been in a lot of stuff. I just don't remember. I don't think I watched a lot of stuff that she was in.
Vampire Academy, Switched
I
Up
didn't watch that
Birth,
either.
Beautiful
I
Creatures,
didn't watch that.
The Ringer. So
I watched Dirty Grandpa.
Oh my gosh! So those are all the things that I watched.
I got you.
But more importantly, she's the daughter of what's her name that I always tell you every time.
I don't know
And
who her daughter is. What's her name?
Uh,
Scroll down to the bottom. I'll tell you. Oh.
I'm going here. Leah Thompson.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And I tell you that every time, and you're like, "Yeah, I didn't." Know
every
that.
time. How many things? I haven't seen hardly anything with her in it. How many times do we talk about it? Do you think you make it sound like we just sit around the house talking about Zoe
in the
Douche?
probably 300 episodes we've had, we've probably talked about her at least twice.
I don't.
Where I've told you this, and you're like, "Yeah, I don't remember that."
I think you just made that up.
Okay,
I
well,
think you're just making up facts.
because I know we talked about Beautiful Creatures because we did watch it, and it was meh.
I haven't seen Beautiful Creature.
And we talked about Vampire Academy because I did watch it and I liked it. It
I
was
don't know what
okay.
Beautiful Creatures is.
It's the one. Never mind. It's not even.
I didn't watch that. I don't think.
Okay, well,
Isn't that an old movie?
It is.
I think that's way before we even had the show.
Are you sure?
Is that
No.
a show or a movie?
It's a movie.
Yeah, that was before we had the
Well,
show. I
who
think.
knows? We've talked about it at
I've
least.
never seen this movie. I don't know.
Okay, it doesn't matter. Moving on. Next.
I don't know. You tell me what's next.
Next, you're going to tell me about the DC League of Super Pets.
The #1 film in the country.
Is it?
Yeah. So if you don't know, the DC League of Super Pets is an animated feature.
Yes.
It's taking on the DC universe, but instead of the main characters, while they are there of the Justice League, they're dealing with their pet sidekicks. Mainly, I shouldn't say predominantly, mainly it's dealing with Crypto, the super dog, which is Superman's dog. And then you get a slew of other new animal heroes. The only other one that I know, well, there's two of them. There's the squirrel, which again, I don't remember if it's the same squirrel or not, but there's something that alludes to that. But there's Ace, the bat hound, which is actually a real thing. But there's also a pig and a tortoise, things like this. So the premise of the film is you actually get an opening, Superman origin opening that's familiar. But this time they injected the dog in there as opposed to him getting the dog on Earth. They made it a Krypton dog and which is kind of a fun thing. It basically is there to establish how long they've had their bond together.
Yep.
Because this movie's really about pet and owner bond. It's also about the importance, which you may be surprised to hear this. It's really about the importance of adopting shelter dogs, shelter animals. Because all the animals are shelter animals.
Oh, please stop.
And there's like some undertones to that, and it's interesting. It's not a force-fed thing, but it's interesting. But so let me ask you this, because I know you didn't get to watch it. But what was your interpretation of the kind of movie this was going to be from the trailer?
I thought it was the pets going on an adventure to rescue someone.
Right. That's not what I mean. I know that you're accurate on that.
Okay.
What kind of tone do you think the movie has?
Oh, I thought it was going to be kind of a comedy, but maybe with some dramatic elements.
All right, so you had a little bit different tone than I thought. I thought it was going to be more the comedy side, like the Secret Life of Pets, so that kind of thing. That's the tone I felt it was going to go from a lot of the trailers I saw, and it is more like what you're expecting. It's got a lot of heart and laughs and all that stuff, but it's essentially a superhero flick.
Yeah,
and they are the main supervillain is a guinea pig. That's been through some lab stuff. And it's interesting is because you can tell through their powers which connection the members of the Justice League, Lex Luthor, and all these different things. And all these people are there. Superman's there, Batman's there, Wonder Woman's there, Green Lantern's there, Flash is there, Cyborg is there, Lex Luthor's there. All these characters show up. And can I applaud them on Cyborg that they gave, it's kind of an amalgamation of the original Cyborg and the animated Cyborg, but Cyborg always has, his like half face. He's got an afro, a huge afro, but it's only one half. So it goes straight up and then it sticks out. That's awesome looking.
That's cool.
One of my favorite designs. But it's got a great voice cast with Dwayne Johnson playing Crypto. Kevin Hart is playing Ace. Kate McKinnon, whatever, is playing the main bad chick.
Nice.
And then you have John Krasinski as Superman. You have Keanu Reeves, who is awesome as Batman. And there's a lot of other different people. But it's a really fun movie. It's fun. It's heartfelt. It's got tons of action. It's a little long, in my opinion. I think they could have trimmed it up a little bit because the kind of movie it is. It has some moments where it kind of drags more than it needs to for that kind of movie. But I think it's because they're really trying to deal with a lot of this, because like with the crypto stuff, he's dealing with it just like Clark Kent. Like he puts his glasses on and acts like he's a regular dog to other dogs.
That's so funny.
So like there's a whole scene that's in the trailer where he's talking to the dogs. One dog, he's like, "Hello, normal human dog. I am also a normal dog." You know, and he's like, the dog is like,
looking like you're a weirdo.
yeah, and you know, then there's this ongoing thing, and it also felt like Kevin Hart was toned down a little bit. He wasn't as spazzy like he is in a lot of his voiceover work, which I liked. It worked for Ace because Ace is supposed to be Batman's dog eventually.
Yes.
In this case, none of these animals belong to the other people yet.
Oh, okay.
So that's kind of a story element as it's growing to potentially happen. If it does, it may or may not in this movie, but that's the idea. Is they're not superhero pets already. They're shelter dogs that get powers.
Yes.
So they all have powers. So
Nice.
The pig can grow really big. The turtle can run really fast.
Really fast.
The squirrel shoots like lightning everywhere. Ace is just normal, but he's a little stronger, you know. And then Crypto, and the flip of the idea of the story is Crypto loses his powers.
Oh no!
So he has to team up with them, and they have to help him. And so it's a fun little adventure. It sets up future stuff.
Oh, cool! That'd be fun.
Yeah, I so wish I could tell you the after credits. There's 2 after credit sequences.
Okay, so
there's a mid credit scene, and there's one at the very end. The very end one is the awesomest.
Okay.
Because there's bigger connection that makes it even ironic. But the voice work is good. The animation is great. It didn't open as big as I expected. It was still number 1.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But it's just a fun flick, man. I think it was great. It's not the kind of thing when they announced it, I thought, oh God.
Well, you know, that's rude.
And I'm a fan of the animated Crypto TV series used to be on. And I don't know if you remember watching that or not. But it was Crypto, and it had Ace the Bat Hound, it had Sparky.
I've never seen any of that.
It was a way more of a kid show on Cartoon Network. And they're fixing to release the full series on Blu-ray, DVD, or whatever. But I was a fan of the show. I thought it was funny. But when I saw this, I was like, it looked like they're trying to take each other too little serious. And then it looks like it's going to be too parody. But it walks that nice line in the middle, kind of like Minions or anything like that, where it's funny, but it's action. And so, anyway.
Okay, well.
Check it out. It's good for everybody in the family. It's great voice work. I'm telling you, Keanu Reeves and Kate McKinnon are the best.
Okay, there you go. All right, our last movie of the evening. This is exclusively on Paramount Plus, and it is the new movie Honor Society. And it has, Anjali Rice and...
Was it Gaten
Matarazzo, who is your guy from?
He's Dustin from Stranger Things.
There you go.
She is Betty from the new Spider-Man
series.
Who hooks up with his friend and what's his big chubby friend's name? Anyway, they're the ones that they got hooked up together. And anyway, so she's leading things. So I knew nothing about this movie either.
I didn't either.
I knew it existed. I saw the trailer, but
I announce all the new movies at the end of every show, and so it was like, well, this was coming out to Paramount. Let's go watch it. And I'm actually really glad we did.
I am too, because this is one of the movies I kept seeing trailers for it because I've been on a Star Trek kick trying to get caught up on Paramount Plus. So a lot of time before every episode, it shows the trailer. I'm like skipping. I'm like, I'm tired of this stupid trailer. But we sat and watched it, and
I really liked it. I liked the vibe of the movie.
What's the movie about? Tell us.
Okay, so the movie is about this girl. Her name is Honor, and she is trying to get her counselors hook up to get an interview at Harvard. This is her life goal, and she's done everything academically to make it to Harvard. And she finds out, though, she's one of the top 4 students. So she has to find out who the other students are and bring them down so that she can have the A's to make it into Harvard.
And everything about this sounds like stuff you've seen a billion times before. And you have.
Yes.
But they do some really great new things with this.
Yes, I love the vibe is where I was going to say, because it has the feeling of like the movie Easy A, where she's talking directly to the camera and telling
a lot of breaking the fourth wall.
Yes, I love it because she's narrating and telling you, this is what I've done academically. This is where we're at. Okay, if it's top 4, who are the other 3 students? It has to be this person, this person, this person. And so she goes on a mission basically to jack up their last semester of high school to make sure their grades drop, but she's going to maintain her A average and make sure she's the one that gets the recommendation to Harvard. But unwittingly,
and what's interesting,
craziness ensues.
Yeah, and what's interesting, and I don't want to spoil this movie because part of what makes this movie work is the unexpected directions a lot of it goes. And it does something that most, and I'm sure there's other movies like this that I probably don't remember. And somebody will be like, it's just like such a, calm down. It's okay. I don't remember them. But unlike most of these kind of movies, while you understand where you have an idea of probably where it's going to go a lot of times,
Yeah.
there's a lot of twists. There's some plot twists that you don't expect about certain characters. There's one that I kind of figured, but it still didn't go the direction I thought. There's other elements that are, there's a lot more positive twist in this movie than you expect from the story they're trying to tell, if that makes sense.
Yes.
You know, not everybody is hateful, not everybody is mean. You know, it kind of seems like it walks the line of every single thing that people deal with today, but through these 4 people. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like you have 4 characters and every one of them represent a different element of life in high school.
Yes, exactly.
And through those 4 characters, different things devolve, evolve, make people better, make people worse. You see different elements that, and she's kind of the catalyst that's connected to the other 3. And it even affects her in a different way than you would expect it to go.
I'm thinking.
I thought you just suddenly turned into one of those ladies in the South.
I did. Oh my gosh, I'm so hot right now. I'm fanning myself.
It is hot in this world over
this
here.
room. We need a ceiling fan. No, I think though too. I'm reading reviews, which is like the worst thing to do. Except watch our show for reviews.
we're the review people that will bash on the reviewers. Like, what is wrong with these people?
I don't get it. I mean, somebody's like, I was physically ill. Here's the issue, or not the issue. What I find actually interesting is that we get the insight into the behavior and times of teenage society. And I like the dialogue. I like you said, there's a character that represents everyone. We are equally white people, black people, Asians, LGBTQ, everything's equally represented. But like you always say, it's not forced into you.
No, they're just
it's
there.
part of who they are. And the language and the mannerisms and the dialogue and the social media aspect and the disconnect between her parents and the older people and the teenage group is there. But that's what real life is. And
nobody in this movie is, well, I don't want to say nobody. Majority of the people in this movie aren't bad people.
No.
They're not malicious people necessarily. If anything, she, for the most part, is probably the worst person in the movie.
Correct.
But she's also not.
Yeah, because at one point, one of the characters like, oh, I've been watching you. And you actually like people. You know, even though in her brain, she's trying to take everyone down.
Because in her mentality, she's created what she thinks she needs to be to succeed. But that's not who she is.
I wonder if this is like a weird amalgamation of Easy A, but also like bringing us back to Breakfast Club in a way. You know,
where it's everybody is not really what they seem.
Yes, but we're all the same in the end. You know, we all went to because like that one girl is totally Ali Sheedy. The Asian girl.
It is kind of
but like the new generation. And so, you know, I reading some of these reviews like, oh, it wasn't good. I didn't connect. It was whatever. I think that's one of the things I love about movies is it gives you the opportunity to get inserted into a life and or time or genre or whatever that we don't understand and we don't live. Like I can't even imagine being in high school again. It sounds terrifying and horrible.
I'm pretty sure I'd be in jail if they had social media now.
Lord. I was in school. So, but I think too, keep with that theme. The pressures that kids are going through now has to be so much worse than when we were there.
Yeah.
Because like I knew like, hey, I'm gonna have to beat up this girl after school.
I'm gonna have to. That's how you felt? I knew I'm gonna have to beat her up.
Okay, I'm gonna have to get into a fight after school. That's all I had to worry about.
This is the bully mentality. I knew I was gonna have to beat her up. She needed to learn.
She needed to learn. But now, I mean, social media. No. This was the other one.
Oh no.
But you know, social media and the fakeness of that. But then the other cute thing about this movie are her friends are like the 2 most sweetest, genuine friends that she didn't even really acknowledge or realize that she had such great friends. You know,
Yeah, and that's a lot
that
of the
was
interesting.
endearing to me.
Well, that's a lot of the interesting stuff that I loved about the movie because this isn't usually my type of movie. I'm not.
No, you're not.
I like
into
these
this.
movies, but I'm not big into them. But what I found the lack of normalcy while being completely normal, I loved because it's like every Hollywood movie you watch like this. You have the mean girls, you have the weird kids, you have all this,
Yeah,
and there's the ones that connect, there's the ones that don't. But at the end, they're still the same weird people,
yeah.
and you never see them either for who they are, or you never let them say, "Look, I'm this, but I'm also this."
Correct.
You know, and these girls they're not ever mean, but they're the kind of girls you would have expected to be the mean girls and not like anybody, and they don't seem to dislike anybody.
No,
They just are their thing. Like they have people that they're like, you don't like him, do you? But then they're like, all right, maybe they do. You know?
Yeah, I liked them. I liked.
We got away from the typical Hollywood bullshit.
And I actually liked every single character in this movie.
Yeah, yeah.
They were, like you said, no one is maliciously.
There's a couple that are annoying.
Evil. Yeah, but
well, there is one
kind of
that kind of is, but that's because
it was with reason though, because of what was happening to them.
They're on the same path, you know,
Yeah.
and it's at the end of the day, it's that interesting. That was part of the interesting twist of where they go with it, and then there was no Hollywood twist for that.
I know, and I think that's what a lot of people are.
They
are
wanted them.
upset
They
with.
wanted forgiveness.
They're like, oh, this ending.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's the great thing about the ending, because that's what might really happen. Because I told you, I'm like, they need to do this. Like, they need to say something, and this is going to take it down.
Yeah, and they even deal with like some of the inappropriate behavior of teachers and teachers taking advantage of people, but they do it in a way that's creepy and not creepy at the same time. So when you watch it, you're like, eh, but at the same time, you're like, it's never making like her look bad, because she has a great moment later in the movie where she's talking to the person and you can see her. She's doing with the other people, like you mentioned before. She's kind of manipulating the situation, and you're like, how far is she going to go in this? And it's implied a lot of times that she's going to go pretty far.
Yeah.
And when she's like, well, no, I'm a child. And I'm like, that's a perception that a lot of the people of that age don't have. They don't say. They're so enamored by, oh, an adult notices me. This, or like, you do realize I'm a child, right?
Yeah.
You know, even though they're 17, 18 years old.
Correct.
You know.
Anyways, I think the best scene out of the whole entire movie is a son and his dad, and the dad happens to be the coach.
It's a great moment. Such a great moment.
And the dad, you know, something happens with the kid, and the dad's like, I already know that. What I'm mad about is you're always late to practice.
Yeah, because he's yelling at him the whole movie about he's always late. He's always late. His dad comes off as this hard ass. And so when you see the scene, it's like, oh my God, this is the greatest scene I've ever seen.
Yeah, everybody's running like, no, don't say anything. And the dad's like, I don't even care. I'm mad that you're always late to practice. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
And it's another case of not Hollywood. Like they have to turn on them. It's built
maybe that's what people are not gonna like.
Well, see, that seems.
But that's what I did like. It was
seems to be a thing a lot of times in reviews. Is if they don't go the Hollywood expectation, and it's more of a potential real life. Like this has a lot of elements that sure Hollywood-esque, but there's a real life element too of the acceptance and the stuff. And a lot of people are going to hate stuff like this. There's a very big homosexual element to it that's not in your face, but it's dealing with somebody dealing with that part of their life. And it's not even necessarily important to the story from a standpoint of seeing that relationship, but it's important to the evolution of that character. And
it's important that it's normalized.
And it's just saying, okay, this is this, and it's just, and that's also a very important part of the story. Not only the normalization, but it harkens back to people getting to be who they are and not having to create the facade, because there's another character that's hurt because of the facade. Yeah. And I think that's another big thing of people going down paths that they don't believe in, or being people that they're not. All the people that get hurt along the way because they can't do the right thing. Yeah. But then everybody's like, but don't be that. Don't be gay. Don't be this. Don't marry this girl because you love her, but then you don't really love her. And even if it's not a gay thing, even a straight situation, somebody's been in a marriage or a relationship for so long, they get married. I guess we're going to get married. We've been dating for 10 years. And they have no interest in being married to each other. And now this other person that thought it was a good relationship just wasted all this time because the other person couldn't say something. Yeah. So with that being said, I have news.
What's that?
No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
You ain't getting out of this one, buddy.
Despite you
We are going to stay married forever.
Despite you did not give me any food the other day, and I was near death.
Whatever. I ordered a salad because
and a bagel.
Okay, you don't like bagels.
I was
really.
not offered anything to enjoy it,
and you don't really like salads.
But I didn't get any food.
And I knew you were leaving, and you were going to be gone way after lunch because you had other things to do. So I ordered myself a bagel.
So I didn't deserve to eat it all that day?
No, not because you don't eat bagels or salads. So what was I going to get you?
So where you're telling me is you ordered from the bagel salad store.
Yes, I did.
I'm still waiting for you to take me to this place that's nothing but bagels and salad.
I will.
All right.
You don't like their food.
If they, I know who it is, and that I don't like their food, but
I
I know they have other things that
are
aren't bagels.
You don't like their
and I've eaten at their places.
So what was I going to get you?
I've eaten that.
You don't
place.
even eat breakfast, so stop your complaining.
It's not the point. It's the fact you didn't even think of me.
Okay, we're moving on. Tell me what's coming out on DVD or
I don't know.
Blu-ray or
it's actually kind of light this week. There's nothing
coming out on beta.
White Elephant, which is one of the only real big new releases coming out this week. It's not even a big one, but it is a new movie from Jesse V. Johnson, who is a director I'm a huge fan of. I've interviewed him a couple times. He's done a lot of Scott Adkins movies, so I'll watch anything
you watch all that.
This is not a Scott Adkins movie. This is actually Michael Rooker, John Malkovich, and Bruce Willis. So it's another one of those last Bruce Willis movie of whatever he's completed. We'll talk about that next week, or one of us will. Flatliners is getting the 4K treatment.
Nice.
Which is a great movie. And then there's a bunch of Chuck Norris movies getting a Blu-ray release.
What?
Force of One, The Octagon, Good Guys Wear Black.
Octagon's my favorite.
Is it really?
Yes, that is my favorite.
When have you ever seen The Octagon?
That is my favorite Chuck Norris.
What's it about?
Movie. It's the one where he's in that thing.
He's in an octagon?
And there's like fire, I feel like, and he has to maneuver over some water and like some obstacle course things to fight the guy. That's right. It's that one, right? Isn't that one?
I love that you just described the end of the movie. You don't know anything else about that movie.
No, that's all I know.
Okay. And that's the one movie that Chuck Norris did that has ninjas.
Yes.
Yes, with Richard Norton as the bad guy.
Okay, see, I know my movies.
Anyway, A Force of One and Good Guys Wear Black. Good Guys Wear Black was the famous scene where Chuck Norris does a jumping sidekick through the windshield of a moving car.
Nice.
A Force of One also has Bill Superfoot Wallace in it.
Cool.
So those are all getting Blu-ray treatments. I think they already had. I don't know. They're special editions. So now I need to reach out and find out why I don't have these. I have these movies, but I don't have these movies. That's pretty much it.
All right. Well, coming out at the theater or on the line, coming out on Tuesday. So this Tuesday on Video Demand and Digital is a movie called Allegoria. I hope we get this somehow and watch it. It says it's a group of artists and their obsessions and insecurities begin to manifest monsters, demons, and even death. Allegoria. And it looks gory because look, she looks all like fanged out and bloody in her poster. Okay, that's Tuesday. Coming out Friday. You guys, we're already in August. How did this happen so quickly? This year has flown by. There are a lot of things happening. So coming out on Video Demand and Digital, which means you can buy it online somewhere, is a movie called Killian and the Comeback Kids. It's the story of a musician who has to go back to his hometown, and he builds a musician.
Okay, sorry.
And he builds kind of like a local band of struggling artists, and we see what happens. And their hope is to unite the community with this concert they want to have. Then coming out also on Video Demand and Digital, I'm looking forward to this. You'll watch it because it has Patton Oswalt, but it's a movie called I Love My Dad. It's basically about the son who is estranged from his dad. And so his dad, in order to be able to connect with him, makes a fake profile online and becomes his friend. And so it's kind of some
more social media craziness.
Catfishing things ensue. All right. Coming out on Peacock. We have to watch this. This is called They, Them. It stars Kevin Bacon, and it is a slasher horror film set inside an LGBTQIA summer camp or conversion camp.
Yeah.
Sorry, conversion. That's very important to the story. But it's a horror slasher film. I'm all about this because you said horror and slasher. I'm there, but then put it inside a conversion camp.
That's scary by itself.
I know, that's horrific.
In conversion places is already horrific.
Gosh, is it one of those pray the gay away things?
Yeah, I'm assuming.
Yeah, no, don't do that to people. Anyways, It's going to be interesting. It's a mysterious killer starts claiming victims one by one. What is Kevin Bacon going to do?
I think Kevin Bacon's leading the camp.
Okay,
I
we'll
think he's
see.
probably involved with the craziness of them all.
All right, coming to Netflix, Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That was hard to say.
There's an animated series called Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Okay.
This is a movie spun out of the series. I think it was a Netflix or maybe Nickelodeon
It's
show.
a Nickelodeon.
But it's going to be on Netflix. But I think they I don't know if they ended the show and then this is spinning off of it or what. I was actually not a big fan. This is the show that took the place of that other Ninja Turtle show I watched that I loved.
Oh, yes.
And this show came out and I was like, what is this
It was
crap?
weird looking.
Yeah, so I'll probably watch the movie because I'm a fan of all things Ninja Turtles. But
all right, coming to Disney Plus. You must watch this no matter what else
Actually,
happens.
it's a Hulu movie.
Okay.
I don't know if it's coming to Disney Plus here.
Oh, okay.
It may be a Hulu movie here in Disney Plus.
Hulu and or Disney Plus. Whatever it is, go find this. The movie is called Prey. It's a Hulu original. No.
It's about
It's a movie called Prey, and it's set in the Comanche Nation about 300 years ago in the past. And a mysterious entity is killing things.
Would you stop beating around the bush and just tell what it is?
Guys,
Jesus Christ.
it's can I say what it is?
Yes.
It's a Predator movie.
It's a Predator movie, but it's called Prey.
I love Predator.
Yeah.
My favorite movie is Alien versus Predator. The poster's right. You can't see the room right here, but there's a poster right there on the door.
Baffles me that your favorite.
I just watched those two movies back to back like a week ago.
The lighting in those movies are trash.
We got to watch them in the dark.
I love those movies too. I love all things Predator and Aliens, but those movies.
Watch all the Predator movies, but go watch this.
Matter of fact, one of the guys that I think worked on something in the film or the lighting people, they posted a thing recently on Twitter, and they showed the original shot. And then whatever they did in editing. In the original shot, you can see the alien standing there, and then the editing from what shot in the theater was almost pitch black.
What did they do?
Somebody messed it up.
Anyways, check out the movie Prey, Hulu original.
We'll be talking about it for sure because we have already seen it.
All right. We've been waiting for this one to come out. It's coming to Prime Video. 13,
it is this week. Okay.
13 Lives. This is based on the true story that happened in 2018 in Thailand where these miners got stuck in a cave, and it
wasn't miners. They were. I think this was a soccer team.
Why are they in a cave?
If I remember correctly, it was a soccer team or something like that. Yeah. I'm pretty positive. Hold on, I
thought they were miners.
Hold on, I got a whole news story on my website at
HollywoodMatrimony.com. Thai cave rescue. I am assuming they were miners. I could be.
Hold on.
Miners like digging a mine, not miners in age.
They are miners. Here it is, right here.
Okay, tell me.
Up. The story of the global effort to rescue a Thai soccer team.
What the
who
heck?
became trapped in the Tum Luang cave during an unexpected rainstorm.
Oh, Lord, don't do that.
Faced with insurmountable odds, a team of the world's most skilled and experienced divers, uniquely able to navigate the maze of flood, narrow cave tunnels, joined the Thai forces and more than 10,000 volunteers to attempt a harrowing rescue of the 12 boys and their coach.
Well, thank you.
With impossibly high stakes in the entire world watching, the group embarks on their most challenging dive yet.
Okay.
Showcasing the limitless of the human spirit in the process.
Thank you for setting me straight. A group of kids. First of all, there are so many caves and dwelling type things in Thailand. Don't go in any of them. I'm just going to tell you right now.
This movie has an awesome cast, though.
It does.
It's got your guy in it.
And it's got your man crush, Colin Farrell.
You get Colin Farrell, Viggo Mortensen, Joel Edgerton, Paul Gleason, and it's directed by Ron Howard.
Of course it is. So, so many.
I'm excited for this.
Good things are going to happen. Okay. Apple TV Plus. I'm excited about this movie. It's a movie called Luck. It is about this lady who considers herself to be the unluckiest person in the world. And then one day she ends up running across a black cat.
Dun, dun, dun.
Now, I've always believed this black cats are lucky. And that's what she's going to find out in the movie Luck, Apple TV Plus. It is an animated feature, but you need to watch it. Okay, coming out nationwide. Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. Okay.
I had a screening for that, but I had to skip it. The only thing I care about, I want to see it just because Pete Davidson's in it.
Well, it is a party at a mansion, and the game turns deadly with people stabbing their friends.
Okay.
So there you go. All right. Coming out nationwide, a movie called Sharp Stick.
I don't know that one.
Jennifer Jason Leigh, The daughter's Christine Froseth.
Oh, John Bernthal's in it.
It's this girl who's just trying to figure it out. She begins having an affair with an older man, and craziness ensued.
It's got John Bernthal, he's Shane from Walking Dead and was the Punisher.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Coming out nationwide. This is going to be so fun. It's the movie called Easter Sunday. It's Joe Choi, right?
Joe Coy.
Sorry.
Why'd you make him Choi just because he's a Filipino?
Well, and you know what? Joe Coy isn't even his name either.
I know, but
that's his grandma's nickname that he
Yeah.
gave him. Anyways,
Joe
it's a Filipino family coming home for Easter. Drama. I can already tell you.
It's sad that-
This already sounds like Latin
and
people.
him and Chelsea Handler just broke up too.
Oh no! Why?
I don't know. They're still friends, they said, but they went parted ways.
Anyways,
But
and then
she did say that he taught her how to love and trust a man again.
weren't they the ones that last episode where they were cooking together and
Yeah.
she did the ayahuasca?
Yeah,
and
they were fixing to celebrate whatever. They did a whole video they shot about their celebration of being together for however many long, and then they broke up before that.
Oh, that's too bad.
But she did say that he taught her to trust men again and how to love, that she could be in love and whatever.
Oh, okay.
So they've been
you.
friends
Thank
forever.
you, Joe Coy. Okay, then the big one I think of the week is going to be the movie Bullet Train starring Brad Pitt.
I'm very excited.
It's the one where you see he's trying to, steal a case, and everyone's after. All these assassins are also after the same case. So it's going to be very interesting.
Well, and here's what's even more interesting about it. The cast is crazy.
Yep.
And the person that made the movie is David Lettich,
Hmm.
who you may know David Lettich for somebody who directed things like Deadpool 2, Fast and Furious Presents Hobbs and Shaw, John Wick, Atomic Blonde. So you already know
Wow.
the level of action you're going to
Yes.
get. But it's, as you mentioned, it's Brad Pitt, but it's Joey King, who we just saw in The Princess, which now we know she can actually carry some action.
Yeah.
Aaron Taylor Johnson, who was Kick-Ass, is in it. Brian Tyree Henry, who I believe we just saw as one of the Eternals, if I remember correctly. Zazie Beetz, who's Domino.
Who doesn't want some zazzy beats?
Hiroyuki Sanada, who we always
Yes,
love.
I love him. By the way, I'm looking at his photo right
And
now.
Bad
He is,
Bunny is in this.
yes,
as well.
Bad Bunny's the
still don't-
Mexican
I still don't
assassin.
understand the Bad Bunny thing, but whatever.
Have I ever played you any of his music?
I know,
It's okay.
I don't want to hear it.
He is one of those that's kind of mumbly.
I know he annoys me.
Okay.
His existence annoys me.
Alrighty.
Because I keep having, not because I know anything about it, it's because I keep having to hear about him, and I'm like, I don't know why we would call yourself Bad Bunny.
Because that's his name.
I'm gonna call myself Chocolate Bunny.
You can be Chocolate
I'm
Bunny.
gonna be Chocolate Bunny from now on.
All right.
Me and
well,
Chocolate Bear can fight.
There you go.
All right.
All right. Next.
We're going with the giveaways.
Yes.
Most of the giveaways, like some of them have ended. I haven't been able to update it because there was an issue with my programming and updating. But there is some new stuff coming, but I'm waiting for it to arrive. So I don't update the site until it arrives. So I apologize. We have one new one right now, which is a movie called Baby Assassins that we'll talk about soon, which is I believe it's a Korean film about two young girls who have to get an apartment together and a job, but they're also happen to be assassins.
Nice.
And they're not happy about it. So it's like an action comedy, I think. And then, of course, we still have a couple of copies of Edge of Tomorrow, the 4K to give away. The Friday 13th Part 3, I have one more copy that'll probably go out this week. Hopefully, Aquaman King of Atlantis. I literally just contacted somebody, but I may be getting another copy, so I decided to leave it until I get an
nice.
official decision. We have one more copy of Raiders of the Lost Ark on 4K and The Secrets of Dumbledore that's available.
Nobody liked that
I'm going to
movie.
keep bashing that
I mean,
movie.
half the people did, and half the people are so upset
Well,
of Dumbledore.
I don't. Never mind. Let's move on.
And we won't get into it
We
again.
don't need to get into
All
it.
right, that's it. That's our show for today. Thank you so much for joining us for this week's episode of Hollywood Matrimony. Thank you to those of you who are watching us live right now on Facebook and YouTube. Don't forget to go find us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and check out our website, hollywoodmatrimony.com.
And big rest in peace to Nichelle Nichols, Lieutenant Uhura from Star Trek, who passed away today. There's been some other people that died recently, but that was an ironic. I was literally in there watching Star Trek.
Yeah.
I'm getting caught up on Star Trek: Strange New Worlds, which if you haven't watched it, it's a great show. And there's a young actress that plays Cadet Uhura.
Oh.
And so I'm literally watching this episode, and I look down and saw that she died. And one of my friends was like, he was a handler for her of conventions, and he was like really good friends with. He's never seen an episode of Star Trek,
Aw,
but he was a really good friends with her. He's like devastatedly heartbroken. So
yeah.
my heart goes out to her and her family, and rest in peace. She is boldly gone to somewhere else.
All right. We will see you next week.
See you
Thank
next
you so
week.
much.